Hey everyone, welcome to the return of the Fandalorians! I'm Darren Jakes,
I'm Rob Stone from Smirking Reviews.
and normally, of course, we have Don Willie from A Dawn of Ice and Fire joining us, but unfortunately, he got trapped in some hyperspace thingamajig, so he will not be joining us this week, but we hope to have him back next week. So, of course, we're talking about the premiere, the season 3 premiere of The Mandalorian. That's chapter 17, The Apostate. Um, but it's been a while since we've been here. Rob, how you been, man? How's the year treating you so far?
Everything's pretty good. Um, everything's really good. Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm in kind of limbo right now, but it's a good limbo. It's not like the Lost limbo. This is a place you want to be. This is where they should have came. They should have all came to where I am right now. So,
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm really excited to get in and talk about this episode with you, but I do want to kick things off and talk. This episode of The Fandalorians is brought to you by Splicefire One, Teeth of the Rakshasa, a gripping cyberpunk adventure by author B.J. West. Depending on who you talk to, Spider King and his cohorts in the infamous Gordian Net are either criminals or revolutionaries in the ongoing struggle against the corporations that have replaced the federal government of the former United States. Attracted by their reputation, a peculiar client approaches the Gordian Net with an opportunity that could be the score of a lifetime. But what first appears to be a simple hack and grab run quickly snowballs into an all out war with the most powerful tech company in the world. Spider will have to outthink, outrun, and outmaneuver the most ruthless street operatives in San Francisco without becoming the next victim of a new weapon of unspeakable horror. Now available in audiobook form on Audible, performed by Darren Jakes. Hey, that's me! There's a link in the description below if you want to check it out. So, yes, I am now an audiobook performer. There are more episodes that will be coming up, but the first one, Splicefire One, is available on Audible right now. So,
all
let's.
right,
I know I'm very excited.
all
I've been
right. I was like, man, where's he going with this?
well, I'm very excited. I've been working on this for a while. We just finished the first book, and it's up, like I said, on Audible. There are two more books in the series, and those will be coming out in the next couple of months. So look forward to that. And like I said, if you do want to check it out, there's a link in the description below, and you can check out the little sample there and see if it's something you like. Want to say hi to Rena in the chat. Thank you very
Oh, what's
much,
up?
Rena. Appreciate it. Um, but yeah, let's get into this episode. And I'm really curious, Rob, how this kind of affected you. I've been really looking forward to the premiere. It's been 2 years since season 2. We got sidetracked with Book of Boba Fett last year. I know. So it's been a long time coming. And how did this work for you? Did you feel that the premiere like gave you what you wanted? Do you feel lit? It was much shorter than I thought. It was like 31 minutes altogether. If you take out the credits and the previously on, which I thought was really short for a premiere. And obviously we're doing a lot of setup, but what did you think about this one?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I was always aware of how long it's been. Just hasn't always been on my radar. But considering that the best two parts of Book of Boba Fett were like episodes 4 and 5, or 5 and 6, whatever, whichever ones where it was like all Mando all the time until like you get pulled into the Book of Boba Fett stuff and you're like, oh, why are we even doing this?
Right.
Um, this was pretty underwhelming, but as far as like the anticipation
Mm-hmm.
of the length of time, and they wanted, wanted to see them come out of the gate just really swinging, and instead, what we got was pretty boilerplate season premiere of a show. This is where we are. This is where we were. This is where we're going. Yeah. And then that's it. And they threw in the Galaxy Quest alligator attack on Mandalore for everybody too. So, there was some good special effects and there was some weird stuff, and it was entertaining but underwhelming and boilerplate by the book premiere. Nothing really to write home about, other than just, the underwhelming parts were very noticeable.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, definitely for a season premiere, it didn't really hit for it. I mean, we've got the big action sequence in the beginning with the giant crocodile attack, which I don't think is actually on Mandalore. That's something that I think that we will get into. And we had a little, flying fight with the pirates later on, but I don't think there was any real moment that kind of grabbed. I mean, obviously the first episode, the premiere episode, the pilot, we had the introduction of Baby Yoda at the end, which was kind of a big thing to drop in. Last season, we had the big crate dragon attack and the Cobb Vanth bit, and then you had the sort of reveal, though not really reveal so much, of Boba Fett there at the end of it, which I think kind of kicked off those seasons really strongly. Here, it was like, okay, this is kind of our place setting. If you missed Book of Boba Fett, we'll kind of cover a couple of things just in case you didn't see. If you didn't see that, you had no idea why Grogu was there and where this new ship came from. So if you haven't, please go back, just watch those 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett, and you don't have to worry about anything else on that, which I thought was a little bit redundant on there. And overall, yeah, I mean, you get your setup for what the season is going to be, but there weren't any real moments that I thought were really kind of grabby. And in fact, I don't know about anyone else, and this is actually some questions that I want to get into, and I'll ask the chat as well about some of the quality stuff, because there were some things that just didn't look right. When we had the pilot, we had that gritty kind of look. It was dark, it was dirty, everything was kind of, and this was like everything was super clean and shined up and mopped, and it almost started looking more like a network television show versus a huge cable show. And I know that the effects and stuff were bigger and so on and so forth, but even just the look of it didn't have the same kind of I don't know, grittiness that I come to expect from Star Wars. Look, I watched The Bad Batch right after this, and Bad Batch looked awesome this week. Very scary, very great alien-esque kind of feel. In fact, my wife walked by and she was like, "Wow, this looks really good." I'm like, "Yeah, this is the cartoon. This isn't the Boba Fett. This isn't the Mandalorian." So I don't know. I'm kind of curious about that. The other thing that I wanted to kind of get into is the timeline stuff. A couple days ago, Dave Filoni had a big discussion talking about what the timeline of this show is. And apparently the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian takes place over a couple of years, which I didn't really get. And then in fact, we had 2 years between the end of season 2 and the reappearance in Book of Boba Fett. Grogu was training with Luke Skywalker for 2 years before Mando came to pick him up. And it just kind of blows my mind on that. I don't know. I'm just like, what the heck is Mando doing? Also, he had no ship for 2 years then. How is he alive? What is he even doing right now? Which, again, these may be like overly large questions and so on, but it really kind of threw me off when he did that. I mean, I was like, maybe 6 months over the first 2 seasons or something like that. Maybe another 6 months between S2 and when he picks up Grogu or something. I mean, it felt shorter than that, but it at least explains why Navarro is so much different than when we saw it last time. To me, that's the only kind of justification. But even then, it just, to me, it brings up more along the question of what the heck has Mando been doing? Has Din Djarin been doing during these times? kind of more than anything else.
All right, so which one of those do you want me to talk about first?
Pick one.
Well, I mean, quality, was that the first thing you taught?
Sure, yeah, let's go into the quality on this.
Yeah, I mean, they brought out that like this. Okay, first I was like, I mean, we might as well just say like it's this like the first scene, right? Where I think they were trying to go for, we're gonna get them to think that this is Din Djarin's.
Totally did.
So they bring out this helmet. Like the beginning was like, all right. Well, when they grabbed the helmet, I just went, oh man, that looks like. I mean, we all have, I think, helmets that are like way better than what that looked like. And then and it was bad enough that it was just the one helmet, right? Fine, a little kid's helmet. Maybe it's just ceremonial, like he'll get his real helmet. Maybe it's his learner's helmet. I don't know. But then you looked around at the whole group of them, and it was like, it really looked like somebody's LARPing on Lake Tahoe. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were like, we're going to go out there and we're going to like pretend to like, it's little, Trevor's birthday and he wants to be inducted into the Mandalorians. So they go out there, right? But it's like, what if little Trevor had his birthday party at Galaxy's Edge where they, mommy and daddy had to pay to film an alligator attack for the whole audience? Like, it just like looked really like the alligator and them just didn't match that well.
It's the Mando stunt show.
But it felt like a stunt show. And instead of jumping and talking about the scenes, but like when they go back to Navarro, it looked like a theme park. It looked like going to Six Flags. It looked like going to Disney, like just walking around like in a like. There's fake and there's fake. We all just like make this contract with the shows that we're watching, like that we know walking down the streets of Friends or How I Met Your Mother or some crap or some Smallville or wherever, like, they got only so many sets and they just got to reuse them and we accept that.
Yep.
But they don't have to look that obviously fake.
Oh, yeah. No, I had tweeted out right afterwards. I'm like, it was a bold marketing move on the side of Disney to shoot so much on the set of Galaxy's Edge at the park.
Yeah, and if the camera had accidentally gone over a couple of feet, it probably would have like shown like what probably would have been filming Super Mario World right next door.
Yeah. I completely agree. It was shocking. It was really kind of shocking.
It looked like Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, it's not the comparison that you want, folks. It's really.
Hey, look, I just binge watched the first 2 seasons. I rewatched this episode 3 times, and I watched the two of the Book of Boba Fett episodes.
Sure.
And the quality of everything up till now in those Mando episodes was far and away a different show than what this looks like. Far and away. There is no difference. Even in the sets, you could tell that the backgrounds, like on a ship set where you look out and see the space, it looked better than anything that they did in the sets on these planets. It just didn't look good. Like, and it didn't like, it took me out of it. But the thing was, I was like, I was along for the ride, just trying to see where it went, and then where it went just kind of went nowhere.
Yeah.
But okay, so that was about the quality. What was the next topic?
That was the timeline.
Oh my God. Okay, see, you didn't even tell me anything about it. Like, I didn't know until you said something right before we went on. And it didn't bother me until again, all these things that we just forgive sometimes. We just go, whatever. Especially in a show like this, whatever. I mean, after the fact, have I gone back and chronologically watched the Clone Wars in order, sifting through every season to make sure that the numbers don't add up. So I'm jumping around from first season to third season to 2 season to 5th season, getting it all that in order. You can do that yourself if you really want to, right? But you don't have to. So this was fine until you told me. But now that I have the info, it doesn't. It's just like, what? And if it's only to justify Navarro, look, you failed already because it looks bad. It doesn't matter that it was built up. If it looks bad, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How many years that it took for them to okay, so in 2 years, honestly, it's kind of believable because it does look like a 2-year job, because it's like just it does look like that, oh, we built a city in 2 years. This is what we have. We just picked up junk from all the spaceships, like crashed landed on here. So we just used everything we found. That's why it looks this way. But the timeline, that's just bunk. And watching the Mandalorian episode where he's training with Luke, even I was watching it going, wait a minute. How long has she been holding on to this gift that he gave her since he left? Because they made it sound like it was a big montage, and then at the end of it, right before he gives him the offer, she's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, here's this thing I've been just wandering around for months and months and months with it, and I just brought it up to you now." So the way they framed it in that episode was that almost no time had gone by.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
their framing of these things just don't make sense.
No, I think it's one of the poor things. I mean, look, Dave Filoni has done an amazing job, I think, with this. Certainly, the times, and we'll get into the nice, awesome kind of Rebels reference that we got in the beginning here. But I think the problem is that the whole timeline stuff, seeing the passage of time and getting how much time has gone through really has not tracked well. And the fact that somebody, fangirling and loving it, hey, in the chat, also very hard, it says very hard to get the head around that timeline. It's a very weird choice. Maybe they'll correct that, but I don't get why those choices were made. Now, I do have one last question about that whole opening sequence. Is, while we do have that big kind of action bit fight against the giant croc, does that make the Mandalorians look tougher or weaker fighting against this thing? Because it was like taking them out, and they didn't seem to be able to do much. The Mandalorians are supposed to be some of the toughest fighters in the world, and I don't think it paid well. It was great to then have the Mando reveal and the shit blow and all that, and yay, he's the hero, which we love to see. But I don't know if it did a whole lot to actually support the strength and prowess of the Mandalorian warriors to be getting their ass kicked against a giant croc. I mean, again, 2 of them took out the crate dragon with some assistance from the townspeople and stuff. So I don't know. That was just my one thought.
No, I mean, I guess they would justify it as, like you said, this is like they're kind of refugees, kind of still doing their thing. Which, by the way, no, we'll cover this first, and then we'll get to my by the way.
Sure.
No, yeah, I mean, you could call it that they were refugees and they were underprepared, but they were still trying to Trevor still needs his helmet. So, my other thing was that when you look at how it comes out of the water, I had some problems with that too. This big giant thing just is there. No pretense. There wasn't a lot of room for it to maneuver, if you ask me. To not be noticed. And I know that you watch nature shows and you see the deer go up.
Do that. Yeah.
But we see it. We're watching it. We're going to the deer. Get the hell out of there. He's right there in front of you. So if, I don't know. Again, it's the suspension of disbelief. And I love it because we always end up tearing these things apart when we go, but
we don't want to.
And I enjoyed it. It was still on that level of frivolous fun. It was fun. But yeah, I mean, a bunch of refugees got their ass handed to them because Trevor's poorly planned Mandalorian bar mitzvah went sideways.
Yeah.
Don't
do it at water's edge with a giant croc.
My by the way comes at the end of it. where we basically just get a recap of like what happened in the
Yes.
episode where he fights with the Darksaber. It's like,
Yeah.
isn't that the same person?
Same
Like
person,
that's the,
same speech,
so we're
same
just have
answer.
why are we doing this twice for the people who didn't just watch the episodes? Like,
Yeah.
there's people that probably watch this show on a loop nonstop. So you gotta at least go, I think they got it right. But then there's the issue going into a period of Din's like journey kind of felt like so far along the way that he had this is the way, but along the way he keeps finding out that there are other ways than just this way. And now it just feels like he's like back to like, well, the kid took the easy way out from Luke, and well, I did say I missed him, and now what do we do? Oh, I guess I just go back to being this is the way, except now all these other people have moved on from everything, and it's just like, I don't know, it made kind of everything feel a little pointless to me. It felt a little like it kind of undercut everything that you went through in the first two seasons. It doesn't cut away from the enjoyment that you have while you're watching it, but it's like, again, it's like finding out like at the end of a journey that the journey had no purpose. Like, oh, we're just right back to where we were, just now I'm not taking you anywhere.
Well, and it was kind of a weird choice in the sense that you're right. This scene repeats what had happened in Book of Boba Fett when she says, is there a way to, not be an apostate, not, to redeem my honor effectively. And it's like, yeah, you got to go bathe in the waters in the mines of Moria. I'm sorry, Mandalore. And that's it. And that was in the previously on segment. So this is really repetitive. However, they don't previously on the return of Grogu. So again, if you hadn't seen Book of Boba Fett, I get this scene to explain what they're doing, but then you're also like, but where did the ship and Grogu come from? And that's an easy thing to do on the previously on. It was just, again, just odd choices, I think. But you're right. I love the show. I'm excited. I don't want to harp on it, but it does raise questions that I don't always know. Am I the only one asking these, or is everybody else asking these too?
Well, also just even their entrance was just like, hey, like we're back. Like literally just, this is what you wanted. This is what you asked for. All of you Walmart moms with the sweaters with Grogu on them, no offense. But like, it's just kind of like, this is, here you go, kids. Here's your candy. Like, doesn't really do anything for you. We're not really. It's just there they are. You wanted it. You wanted them together, so here they are. Much more interesting story if they'd taken a season apart at least. But hey, whatever. F it.
Yeah.
Let's just give the kids what they want. We got to give them the Yoda and the popular suit. And we're going to start downgrading the show from here on out. Because once they do that, it feels like you just know that it's going to keep that going that way. They're not going to suddenly put more money in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of shows that have suddenly taken a budgetary, nosedive or in quality, and then suddenly they go, oh, wait, oh, no, we're wrong.
Well, hopefully maybe they save the budget for later on in the season. Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah.
Now, following our opening sequence, we did get a cool little moment that I loved, and I'm sure every other Rebels fan was super excited about. And that's the little shot where we have them traveling through hyperspace. Din's asleep, Grogu's in the back, looks over, and we see frickin' Purgil moving through the hyperspace. Which, for those that may not have watched Rebels, that is the final thing that took Ezra and Thrawn and ended Rebels and took them out in the journey. So I think this is a nice preview of the return of Ezra. And I thought it was kind of a perfect thing that this was kind of Grogu by himself, that there was some kind of force connection or awakening, or it was just, again, it was a small moment, and I'm sure it really is sort of playing into the Ahsoka series and the return of Ezra and all of that. But I loved it, and I was really excited again, it's what was that meme of what's his name from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, of just like, oh, I see it, which I thought was kind of really exciting. A brief little bit, didn't take that long, but I think that, to me, that was a nice hint of things to come, either in this series or, again, most likely in the Ahsoka series, that we are bringing this back. I love that bit, and I thought that was a really cool choice to do, kind of linking those two scenes.
Yeah, and it felt like a moment from the show, the show proper. Again, this is I guess the problem with the show right now already is it keeps taking one step into Book of Boba Fett and one step into Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like each step we're taking, we don't know which one we're going to land on. So
Right.
we got Book of Boba Fett in that first step, and then we get to when they're talking about like what he's got to go through. It gets back to being the Mandalorian, and the whole thing in space was beautiful and awesome. I really like that, and it felt like Mandalorian again. Like this felt like the show. This felt like Star Wars. That's what I'm really saying.
Yes.
Is when they step back into their show, it feels like Star Wars again. And when they step out, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know what we're doing or why.
Right.
So like as much as I like loved watching that, it was just like again the next scene jars you again back out of it.
And speaking of the next scene jarring us, let's get to Navarro.
Which every time you say that, I think of frickin' guy from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Or no, Jane's Addiction. No, which one is it?
I don't know. I have a buddy of mine, one of my oldest friends, is his name's Robert Navarro. He's a musician. But every time I see that, I'm like, hey man, Bob's in the show. I appreciate that. Fangirling. Yes, Leonardo DiCaprio. Thank you. My brain was totally farting on that one.
Sorry, I didn't know.
But yeah, so we get to Navarro, and again, look, it looks like the theme park. They shoot it in Galaxy's Edge. Bold choice on the side of Disney, but I guess you got to include that. We got a nice salacious crumb tree, which, look, I love the shot of the salacious crumb creature. I don't remember what the species is called in the pilot, and they're in the cages and all that, and I'm like, yeah, that's gritty. Then we see this, and I'm like, hey, it's Disney. I don't know. Fun to see, nice callback, but yeah, the whole Navarro adventure was a little. Look, I like seeing Grief.
Westworld.
I like getting that. Yeah, thank you. But a lot of this felt really pointless. Now we do have a nice Expanse reference when he talks about the Belters mining the asteroid field. That was awesome.
I was like, oh yeah, they're talking about real stuff that I could actually pay attention to.
And we get the comic reference to Grogu. It's like,
whatever, man.
His name's Grogu, if you say so.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah. But yeah, oh my gosh, yeah.
But then let's get to the pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, and look, chat, I want you to weigh in here, because I'm really got to answer this question for me. I'm not entirely sure why. Why do the pirates look cheap? Obviously, that's not a cheap mask. Does it look like a mask? Is it the lighting? Is it the fact that they sound like regular people, and there doesn't seem to be like an alien voice? I don't know what it is. But they just don't look right. It's weird. I mean, first of all, it's just kind of an odd scene. They're insisting to go into the school where there was the old bar, and nobody tells them. And what, they don't have pirates showing up anymore? He needs a marshal. Wasn't Grief like the head of the bounty hunter guild, and he has nobody else that he can? I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I'm getting off. That's not my question. Just talking about the pirates.
Go, man. You get to go. I always get to go.
That was a big question to me. I'm like, look, Grief, I love where you're going, but you don't have anybody else you can call. I did appreciate, and maybe this will get me in trouble with some people. I did appreciate they did not kill off Cara Dune. she's off. She joined the thing. They got pulled. I hate it when they just kill off characters when they've got to get rid of actors or whatever and they're gone. I like at least like this individual is off in the galaxy doing things. If we never bring back Gina Carano, fine. I actually liked her in the role, but you know, she's saying shit she shouldn't be, and this is Disney and a corporation, and they're not going to take that stuff. But I did appreciate the fact that they didn't kill off the character. But I do want to know why they. Was it just me, or did the chief pirate dude from the ship look like one of the pirates from the Caribbean?
Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Yes. Is it the lighting? Is it the color of things? Do they not look grounded? It just doesn't. It doesn't look like the quality of stuff. And I think you said it right earlier on. The quality of this does not seem to match previous seasons. It's much too clean. It's much too shiny. Everything is colorful. It doesn't have that feel to it.
Yeah.
And it really kind of bums me out.
Yeah, like I said, it's Westworld. It's, you know what I mean? But like, what if nobody's a robot? It's just like they're just walking around. Like, it's just it. You know what I mean? Like it felt like a goof that somebody, like a skit that they do at a place, at a theme park.
Yeah.
Hey, is there going to be a problem? And everybody just kind of stands off to the side because it's the 10-20 show that they do where they wander around and then come out every like once an hour to do their thing. And here they are. And then they don't even kill like all of them. They leave the one guy alive because, again, we've talked about this. It is a live action cartoon, so I expect it to be cartoony. I expect it to not go so super dark. But those fools on the ground, man, they're dead, right?
Oh yeah, they got totally wasted.
I mean, he cut off a dude's head in Book of Boba Fett, man. He was carrying it around in a bag. Okay, what is happening here? Like, wait, we can't just, like, if we're going to have High Noon, if we're going to have, gunfight at the OK Corral, let's have gunfight at the OK Corral. Let's turn this, oh my God, all these people got used to having ice cream and shit. Let's wake the town up that, yeah, we might still have some problems here and just have a blaster fight, like a real proper fight. I would have been able to forgive all the, like, unmovable mouths and crap where they just don't focus on any one guy too long, if the scene was more interesting other than the deals he made or, the pirates still want the place. Did we really have to go through all of that to get to this? Like, honestly, it cost you more and it should have cost more than what you spent for what we got out of it. You know what I mean? If it's going to be stupid.
Well, and if you're like a big hub on the Hydian hyperspace way and you're big on all that, come on, you have no security in this town. It's grown. You've got a big building spree, and is it a couple of droids that are running?
Yeah, where's Chris? Like they could have gotten anything. They could have rolled up any kind of idea, but it just didn't seem like, again, that they really had any.
Yeah.
And maybe, they rushed it. Maybe this is a rush job. Maybe the first episode's just, a hiccup. It was written by Favreau, but I mean, it did feel like he went, okay, let's basically take the major points that we left on and just quick wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, hit all three parts. Like basically a recap of the intro, what happened to everybody, where on Navarro, if you care, and oh, by the way, forget about the Darksaber, forget about all this other stuff with, Bo-Katan. She's given up, and I guess the best thing that we can say is that Boba Fett didn't show up looking for another favor.
Thank fucking God. Thank fucking God. I mean, look, Fennec could have shown up. Fennec Shansa, I'd be happy with that. Bring in Melinda May in space as much as you want, and I'm totally happy with that. Now, of course, when we find out the reason why he is at Navarro, am I getting a feedback on your end there, Rob? Is there a speaker
I'm
on
all
or
right.
something? Okay.
No.
One of the reasons, I guess the reason why we're at Navarro in the first place here is IG-11. For some reason, he came back to pick up IG-11, the only droid that he trusts, though in previous seasons we showed that he got better with droids. That was the oddest thing. I mean, I love the statue, of him. That was great. But did he even know they had recovered parts of him? He blew himself up. But we do get an awesome, like, Terminator scene of him crawling after Grogu and everything, which was kind of scary and freaky and creepy and all of that.
And also proved that not just stormtroopers can't hit shit.
That is true. That is true.
That was like when the robot butlers gotta do the saving. I don't know what to.
No, there's still some odd feedback coming in. When I talk,
Mm-hmm.
it's goes burr 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 burr.
Oh, I don't hear nothing.
Okay, is it on me? Did I screw something up?
I just hear some beeping occasionally.
All right, maybe I can adjust that. Oh no, that's worse. Okay, how about now? Go again. No, that's weird. All right, sorry folks, we just get some weird technical stuff going on here. I am not in charge of StreamYard, folks. I'm very sorry. Now, the other thing that I think that we brought. Oh, now it's gone. Awesome. I think the other reason that we got back to Navarro here is not only to show off the Galaxy Edge theme park, but we got to do a nice return to the worst Star Wars movie that you haven't seen, and that is the little creatures, the Anzelians, to fix up IG-11, also known as the Babu Frick species. Look, that was cute. That was fun. I think it's Disney just trying to remind everyone and set up their edge of the universe and the things that they have added on to and so on. It's a great kid cartoon moment. But again, to me, the whole IG-11 bit was kind of just a waste of time. I don't understand why he needs him, why he can't get any other one, except to show us the Babu Fricks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like we just went a long way for him to go, oh, well, we're just going to send him to the hospital and take him to the robot hospital and he's going to be fine. I mean, I was going to tell you that, but you seemed like dead set on having it be a do-it-yourself situation.
Yeah.
So, like, oh my God, like what? Because see, since I didn't see the movie in question, I thought the scene was pretty kind of all right. But then as soon as you started talking about it, I was like, oh, God damn it. Right now that this is basically going to be the new Fraggle Rock with these guys.
Sure. And
They're
again,
it's going to be the Boba Freak, like, it'll be like a 32 episode run of some little show like that. It'll be just great. I can't wait for all the toxic channels to get a hold of why that's terrible. No, it just sucks, dude. Don't make it a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cute with Grogu grabbing him and doing the big hug and everything. He decided he's going to bring his friend that was cute and everything. I'm not harshing on that. It's more along the lines of like this seems to be almost like the checkpoint. Let's be sure we advertise the park. Let's be sure we advertise the things that we have done. Let's be sure we remind people of what we did, as opposed to really making choices that make sense for the world that we have seen. I mean, even when we get to the pirate fight in space, Mando's now an excellent pilot, and he's got a stealth ship, and I mean, he's appearing in and out of the things, and the pirates that work the area can't keep up. I mean, I don't like overpowered heroes. I like heroes that have limitations. They're not great at everything, but he can fix a droid even though he hates droids. He can fly the ship all around the thing without getting hit or being worried about it and taking things out. It's exciting, I guess, from a kid cartoon standpoint. You want to see the hero, yay, and I'm excited about that. But it just seemed a little kind of much. And then, we had the Pirate King who too much lighting, too bright of color. Maybe it's the sound. I don't know. But at least we got to see Bo-Katan. Okay, at the very least, we got to see Bo-Katan in this episode.
I was just thinking, man. You like how he can fix droids now, like after he hates droids, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna see like a little plaque from DeVry hanging in his ship. That in the 2 years that he was like tooling around, he went to DeVry to learn how to.
That's what he was doing. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's what's going on, man. He's gonna have a plaque back there, and Grogu's gonna be always like messing with, be like, hey, I spent 2 years on that annex course.
Okay, Bo-Katan on Kalevala in the Mandalore system. Why don't they just go to Mandalore?
Yep.
Why has he not just gone to Mandalore? Why is it this thing? The place has been, it's been bombed. It's been crystallized. It's poisoned. It's even he asks Bo, who of course is looking up like Conan the King on her throne, all kicked back. Oh, the crown weighs heavy on
Hamlet.
Her skull. It's very Hamlet looking. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she needs a hug.
Oh,
right.
Titus, bring your friend hither.
And yes, Eric, I know that IG-11 was the only droid that Mando trusted. That's true. Or it was the first. But even by second season, when he goes back to Tatooine, and he's telling the droids, "Oh no, that's okay. They can look at my ship now." He's softened a little bit. We get to see that he goes off on a little bit. So, yes, IG-11 is his first droid that he trusted. It's just a weird choice to go back to Navarro to go, hey, I know he blew himself to bit, and I don't know that you have made a statue of him, as far as I know. But again, the timeline's all off, so we don't know how often he's been to Navarro, if he's seen this before. Which, again, is something they could have said, hey, it's been a year since I've seen you, or so on. Oh, yeah, you've seen it. There's a line or two that could be dropped that could make this help make a little bit more sense. Otherwise, it just seems like it's coming out of nowhere. And again, this is just me. Maybe everybody else sees it a little differently. And if you do, that is awesome. But even the question with Mandalore, what he does ask Bo, he's like, oh, is it cursed or not? Are you changing your mind? It's like, who has been to Mandalore? If you're in the system, why don't you go down there and look? I mean, maybe they're holding that reveal, but
they're not doing a very good job. But
and yeah, Bo's all sad. She gave up. She didn't get the Darksaber. Everybody left. I mean, you're on a good planet, looks like, in the Mandalore system. Why can't that be the new Mandalorian home? We get nice setup for what to expect for this season, but it leaves a lot more questions than answers, and not, to me, questions in a good way. Not like, oh, what is coming next? What do we expect? It's more like, why haven't these things done? Why doesn't anybody know the truth on this? I mean, I thought Mandalore was like guarded. I mean, I know the Empire's gone, but if nobody's been, I just don't understand why nobody's been back, especially if, according to Filoni, so much time has passed. Again, 2 years. Why not go and take a look at this? I don't know. Those are the questions that I ask.
Yeah, well, you're right to ask them, and I don't know what to say because it's just really, when you put it all out there, right? Because honestly, what we need to do once we get like enough people in the room, we should just be like, okay, we all had a really good time watching it. I sat there, I was enjoying the whole thing, but in order to do a good job talking about the actual show, we have to talk about how everything.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the majority of what we're talking about is that there are problems, and they are not giving us any kind of indication that they haven't kind of lost their grip on the wheel.
And honestly, I mean, I appreciate the fact that we got to see Grief and we got the kind of mission of that he's got to go and find this one part to get IG working so we can use him to help explore Mandalore. Okay, and we get to see Bo-Katan. But it's like so little time was spent really anywhere. It was just we're touching these moments, but we're not getting depth into it. And I would have appreciated about a 20-minute longer episode where you could spend some time figuring out, get some backstory on Mandalore, have Bo-Katan talk about this, give us a reason of why these things really are happening, as opposed to just setting up what's coming up next. And I think that's what sort of felt like with this episode. It was so short and we spent so little time on things. It was like, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to talk to you about what the plan for the season is, but we're not really going to get into anything yet. And at the very least, look, if you're not going to spend the time, wait till next episode to bring us to Bo-Katan so you can spend the time doing that. Because otherwise, yeah. I feel just like I've got more questions are raised up than expectations. However, am I the only one that thought it was funny that the mines of Mandalore are underneath the Civic Center? I don't know, when she said that line, I thought, yeah, Eric, it felt like the episode was like 10 minutes. Yeah, because you had all these setups, but no development, no moving forward. And I think that that's something that we're used to. Again, the whole first episode, the whole pilot episode, we get the Mando background, we get his connection to Grief, we get him getting the mission, we get him going to the planet to find his, who he was supposed to pick up. Then that whole fight, introduction to IG-11 and reveal of Baby Yoda at the end. A nice, huge chunk of story that give us the, what is this? And the expectation of what's to come. Here, I was just like, are we going to get started yet? Was this the preview?
Yeah. And when it was over, it really just like ended. It was just it. Just boom.
Do you still have the Darksaber? Well, go wave it around in front of them and they'll follow you anywhere. I mean, God, if there is a line that just showed that Bo-Katan has like completely given up, it's that one. But if it's been over 2 years since he last saw her, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess, yeah. Did everybody, yeah, fangirling. Did everyone abandon her? A majority of people, some just wandering, being mercenaries now.
What's she doing just chilling there, man? She ain't got no food or anybody to help her. She's just like, you know what I mean? Like, what is that? What is it she's doing? Like, randomly hoping, like,
throne.
She's just chilling there while her robot butler is up front to make sure the riffraff don't get in because, it's obviously, security is a problem here right now. There's too many people around. Yeah. The longer we talk about it, the more problems we're gonna be able to find. So
it's true. Now look, rewatching it the second time watching this, I enjoyed it much more than the first time. I'm gonna say that once I kind of, I guess, moved past my expectations and stuff and just watched overall what they delivered. Look, it was great seeing everyone, and it wasn't as painful as the first time. But again, it's not even the quality issues that I have about the looking of the Mando group, with the bar mitzvah, or the pirates and the odd masks, or the people in the background that look like they're theme park caricatures. It's the fact that I've been waiting for this adventure to Mandalore. It was hinted at the end of Book of Boba Fett. This is how he has to get his thing. This is what he needs. He's got Grogu. Was hoping it was going to be like, this is the exploration of Mandalore. And they just seem to dance all around that. And the fact that, again, 8 episodes, so now there's only 7 left to do all of this.
There's a part when they cut and ended it that it just felt like we're not done. And I don't mean that like greedy wise or whatever, because 31 minutes is a short period. There was more to go here. There was more to go. Really send him off on his way where he's really going, instead of cutting to black and we're just like, okay, I'm going to the mines. Okay, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to, like, the next episode could be he goes flying and a random asteroid takes out one of the engines and he's got to crash land on this moon where he ends up having a...
No, please don't. Please don't. He's already got to go find the chip for IG-11, get him fixed.
He gets a distress signal from some place and they go, well, like... it's, oh, hey, I heard this place has such and such there. Well, there you go. Or I know a guy from that place. Or it is the guy that I owe a favor to from some long distant thing that we used to, and he'll be some idiot Joker comic relief character. Now I hate going down this rabbit hole.
Now look, I've got to make a corollary statement. I have to make it an honest assessment. Andor spoiled the fuck out of me. And I know we didn't have a discussion, we didn't show about it, and the fact that was the thing least on my radar that I didn't care about, and ended up being one of the best things Star Wars has ever put out.
Yeah.
Both in acting, in quality, again, the whole look on it. And I know that this show isn't that. Yeah. I know that these are two different, and I am fine. Give me the Andor, and you can have your live action cartoon. But even Mandalorian should be more 4-quadrant. It should be for everybody, not just kids. We've got the Jude Law and Kids in Space one coming up. That's great for kids. That's perfect. Do that. Make this one, it doesn't have to be gritty and dark necessarily, but it should be more than just for kids. This should be the 4-quadrant, middle of the road. We've got our gritty moments and we've got our cartoony moments, and we get those edges. This one, again, felt very much youth oriented. And I just don't think that's fair to every audience member. The Mandalorian was the premier top show for them that really grabbed everyone, had the look and feel of Star Wars. This episode did not have the look and feel of Star Wars. This looked like a network television show.
Not even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. looked much better.
But you know what I'm saying. Like, they know how to do. It's not like they don't know how to do good network television either.
No.
So it's like, what the hell?
Now, if, again, this premiere was like, this is what Disney wanted to advertise their stuff, or the things, great. And then we move on to a little grittier. I love Crow. I will eat Crow all day. Show me that I am wrong, and I have no problem with that.
Yep.
I'm great about that. But don't, man, give me some Mando action. Okay, the guy pulling out and taking out guys left and right, and we had a little fight in the street, but that's not the same thing. It just...
We're not asking for much. That's the thing.
No, I just don't want it just for kids.
Yeah.
Again, you can have a Skeleton Crew. That's the one with Jude Law and the kids coming up. Make that's a great kids show. It has kids in there. They're lost in space. They're trying to find their way back, or whatever the line on that's supposed to be. Perfect. Make this one a
Spoiler
little more.
alert.
Yeah. Make this one a little more 4-quadrant. Make this one a little more appealing to adults and not just kids. And then Andor can be the adult one, and we can have that, adult, everyone, child oriented. That's great. I don't know. I'm glad the show's
I
back.
think we hit it,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. I really, really want to see what's going on with Mandalore. I really want those questions answered because, again, the longer they draw that out, I'm like, God damn it, has nobody even bothered to go look at this planet? Is it just all rumor? And we're like, eh. But the fact that Bo-Katan is in the Mandalore system and is still like, no, it's gone, it's dead, or not. I don't know. That I just don't get. That makes no sense to me. But we'll be back next week. Hopefully not harping on the next episode.
No, and hopefully we'll be talking about Secret Invasion too as soon as that is finally announced.
And that's a fair thing. I know the first little art piece that I put out here was calling this Fandalorian Invasion because I was believing that Secret Invasion was going to be dropping probably mid-March in between Quantumania and Guardians 3. And that we would have a nice stretch of Marvel show to kind of link those two up. We've had a huge change in the Marvel slate for this year. Echo is pushed to who knows when. The Marvels got the Marvels got pushed to November from Midsummer. And
gotta get that Oscar buzz.
Yeah, and that one other what was the other Disney
Loki?
show? No, Loki is still slated for summer, though it's probably going to be like June or something. But there was one more that it was supposed to go in that looked, I think they originally had 4 up for this year, and now there's just basically going to be the 2. Oh, the Coven, the Harkness.
I get the Harkness.
I get the Harkness one, which again I don't necessarily care too much about. I mean, the character was fine in WandaVision, but I'm not. I don't. That's not an expected one. I want to see.
It's gonna be a reason to bring back that cast from fucking WandaVision.
Yeah, but look, Secret Invasion and Loki were the only real 2 big shows I was hyper excited about, and they're going to be this year. Yeah. Right now, I think the rumor is, and the unconfirmed stuff is that we'll probably be getting Secret Invasion in May, probably right after Guardians premieres. I mean, they might do it right after this show, but I'm guessing they might give it a week or 2. And apparently that show is important to see before the Marvels come out. There's some sort of linkage between the 2. Again, rumors and stuff that I have heard. So we'll probably do a Secret Invasion when it comes out in May. We might have a little break between the end of this show and when that comes up, and that's going to be great. And we will definitely be doing Loki because that is my number 1 Phase 4 show. I fucking love that thing. And at some point, we may even do a little breakdown of how we rank all of the Phase 4 movies and shows. But for now, we just want to say thanks for joining us. I hope you all stayed with us for all this fangirling and loving it. Joining us, great to see you. Rena, of course. Eric, Scott, Deborah was in here as well. Silva popped in yesterday thinking we were on Thursdays, but we've changed to Fridays now, so I'm sure he'll catch this in the archives. But I really appreciate you all joining us and sticking with us through all of this. I'm looking forward to this season. Don should be back here with us next week. We'll hear what he thought about this, and hopefully we'll even have a better episode to talk about and really get into to enjoying this show the way that we have. Again, we're not talking Book of Boba Fett at all. But any final thoughts there from you, Rob, and what you do and where can people find you?
I mean, right now I'm just playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy on Twitch at Smirking Rob Plays, where I'm playing as a Slytherin character. And I got my little Dumbledore wand here for everybody. Got my Elder wand. Because I'm not going to carry the deathly hallow, right? I want the like most powerful wand. Okay. So that's what we've been doing, just playing on Twitch and yeah. Talking about The Last of Us. We missed last week because I had another engagement, but I'll be back for more Last of Us too. That's what we're doing over at Smirking Reviews. Other than that, be working here and just living my life.
Excellent. Yeah, and God, Last of Us, the best game to a video game adaptation, period. Blows everything else away. God damn, that show is good.
Yep.
Ooh,
Gonna win everything.
Pedro Pascal is just like, man, he's ruling the roost right now, and God bless him, because he really needs to get over being in Wonder Woman 1984.
Well, this works. So if you want to do Last of Us with me, one of these episodes on Sunday night, go ahead. Like it works now. It works on my phone, but apparently not my laptop. So
we'll have all the technical stuff sorted out by next week, folks. Thank you for
honestly for being on my phone, and for both of us, this is actually turning out really good, because we tried this a long time ago, like Captain and the Winter Soldier days, and didn't work so well. This is weird. So.
No, but this looks great. It works great, and yeah, you were bouncing all over on the computer before we were able to get onto this, and this is working out perfect. So, yeah, let's do this in the future. Perfect.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining us live.
We're just talking.
We're just talking. It's an hour now.
Yeah.
I figured they
mind your own business, everybody else. Mind your own business. All right. You guys should have stopped watching like 3 minutes ago. Shame on you.
What the hell are we doing here? These are just two guys just chatting at this point.
Yeah.
But
like, this is where we end up revealing that we're just actually a couple of grifters. Think they bought it?
In which case, throw in a super chat. No.
Yeah.
Do I have to set that up? I don't even have that set up.
Yeah, you'd have to set that up.
Yeah, folks, this is just for you. This is because we all love you and we want to share the show. And we'll be back next week. Thanks so much. And we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dun, dun.